Thank you, Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates. Resolution L1 Rev 2 is not a hurrah for Sri Lanka. It is a sober, considered document, which I see as a bridge between Sri Lanka and the world, and a bridge between Sri Lanka's present and its future. One can see just how carefully considered a text this is when you bear in mind that the original L1 had 17 paragraphs, while Rev 2 has 29. Why this expansion? And where did this expansion come from? Excellencies, the expansion in the text is a frank result of annexation, of incorporation, not in any aggressive manner, but in the spirit of incorporating the concerns of all in this Council, concerns that were in the Swiss text that was circulating and in a number of other texts that were presented to Sri Lanka. We have sought to represent the maximum possible consensus. We have sought to make this the highest, not the lowest, common denominator of the concerns of the Council with regard to Sri Lanka. This is why we have the expanded version which brought us from L1 through Rev 1 to Rev 2. I draw your attention, Excellencies, in particular to OP10, which enshrines and embeds the entirety of the joint statement between the Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon, and the government of Sri Lanka. It reads, and I quote, "Welcomes the visit to Sri Lanka of the Secretary General of the United Nations at the invitation extended by the President of Sri Lanka, and endorses the joint communique issued at the conclusion of the visit, as well as the understandings contained therein." I think there can be no more concrete a testimonial, Mr. President, to the sincerity of Sri Lanka and the co-sponsors of this resolution, to the values we all share, universal human rights and all the humanitarian concerns that were voiced during this discussion. Mr. President, I referred to the text as a bridge, and we know that bridges have a weight that they can bear. Any weight that is put on them beyond a certain point will cause the spans to collapse. And Sri Lanka and its co-sponsors do not want to see that happen. We are 10 days after the conclusion of a 30 years war, Mr. President, and we think that this text represents the best synthesis of the sentiments of the Human Rights Council. Thank you, Excellencies.